favor. Just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, greetings, Sigma race fans. It is now time for the Sigma Daytona 500. Second race of the Sigma Cup season, 500 miles in distance, 200 laps total, and 46 drivers roaring to take victory at the International Racetrack of Daytona, the home of the Great American Race here. Well, folks, on the front row, you're going to have some new blood up front here. Obviously, Louis Trost, a veteran, has had some years behind him, but starting up front here for what seems to be first time on the pole, and alongside of him, the number 28 of Jimmy Logano. Next row, Lucas Holmes and Rich Roy, followed by Tristan Reams and newcomer Preston Kundo in the number 77 for Tyler Schengel Racing. Wyatt Wilkinson starting top 10 here tonight alongside Tom Cording in the number 30 Cording Brothers Motorsports Cadillac there. Jordan Walker and Jacob Schengel next row back. Braden Varga in the Softbake Hawks number 9 Chevrolet for BBB Plus One Motorsports. And then Tate Bergeron right alongside of him. Finlay Herwig, first full-time season in Cup, starting mid-pack here tonight alongside Ralph Oberstadt. Tyler Schengel and Bradley Ream. Kara Schengel and Chaz Chadwick. Cooper Dwight and Liz Schengel. Tyler Landa and last week's winner, Eli the Wolf. Could he make it 2 for 2 perhaps? Behind that, you got Brandon Butler II alongside James Fireball Robert, Lynn Farrell and Brian DeBlanc, Trevor Walker, and this week's hot seat for the number 6, Davian West. Made it through the sprint qualifier last night. And here we have Luis Rodriguez and Tasha Wright, a pair of teammates there. Chris Harvey and Ryan Little, Kellan Roellich and Trevor Vaden. Kevin Xavier and Carson Bowers, Tyler Aspinall and Sebastian Torres. Alex Crowther with John Hagan alongside of him. Ryan White and Chad Hertenstein. Ewan What Army and Adam Starr with Monty Schengel and Al Bunch, a pair of defending champions starting tail into the field here tonight on Friday the 13th. .200 laps is going to be a lengthy one here tonight, folks.
How quick the commitment line comes up on you into turn 2 there. Don't let him speed because it's a short box right there. Second was on the green flag, wearing him out. Even if he says he understands, keep wearing him out to pit off from turn 4.
So as already highlighted with our teaser for today, Friday the 13th is a pretty common staple here in the Sigma Cup Series. 19 other races that we've hosted on Friday the 13th. Tonight marks the 20th occasion of running a race on Friday the 13th. And man, how scary is it to be running at Daytona nonetheless here tonight, where a big one could break out and really wreck your days. So rolling here tonight for the 500 miles at Daytona. It's going to be a grueling one. These drivers are going to have to play the strategy game here tonight to get the win. The initial lap, very slow roll, get up to speed lap for these cars. They're really quick cars, but they're very slow to get up to speed, so kind of a catch-20. You know, you got a bunch of speed, but at what cost? You have to get up through the gears. It takes about a lap. Won't see fast laps for at least a couple laps into the race. Al Bunch tail into the field here. It's going to be a interesting day for sure. 4 wide already on lap 2, and they're looking like they might try to wreck. Finlay Herwig gets pushed down below the apron. He comes and rejoins the racing surface. It's still 4 wide for that second and third position. Wyatt Wilkinson in the middle. Braden Varga. No, and they're going to wreck. We're getting the big one here tonight, folks. Already a couple laps in, and they're wrecking. Wyatt Wilkinson's Daytona 500 comes to an end here. Pole setter, the 29 of Lewis Trost, unfortunately, also involved. And pace car is going to head out on track here. So perhaps being at the back of the field was the call here today to stay out of trouble. It's been a while since we've had a big one. We've kind of been rolling through the punches this season without any big wrecks this year. But it's Friday the 13th, folks, and it was going to get out there and grab them one way or another. So big wreck to start the race here tonight. We'll have a replay up here in just a moment. Looks like currently leading is Finley Herwig. Wow. So this all starts right about here. They're 4 wide, and I thought for sure that Finley was going to get in trouble here. Gets dropped below the apron. He rejoins the race surface, and everything seems all right at this moment. But Braden Varga with very little room to negotiate there. He's going to get into the 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson. Finley doing his best to hold his line. Braden Varga just gets a little bit loose, it looks like, and comes up the track. Collects Tyler Shangle, Lucas Holmes. The smoke obscuring all the wrecked cars as we're rolling through the carnage there. Looks like Chadwick drives through it with minimal damage. Let's check out this vantage point from the Goodyear blimp. Kerr Shangle with the fastest lap here tonight so far. Only 3 laps in, so the fast lap really doesn't mean a whole lot yet. But here we are. First caution of the night. 4x4. Man, it was double down 4 wide there. Kara pushes it 4 wide. That's an opportunity for her to get up into second place, as Finley will follow through the wrecked carnage there, taking the lead. There we go. The 29 of Lewis Trost, nowhere to go. Rich Roy in it. Preston Kundo, it looks like he's going to steer clear. Chad Hertenstein gets through. Oh, and Preston Kundo just clips just a tidbit there at the end of the wreck. Let's watch it full speed. And we'll go ahead and follow along in the in-car cam for Chaz Chadwick. As you can see, lets up off the throttle. It is just a cloud of smoke. And I don't know how he was able to move through that, but he made it through with minimal to no contact. Yeah, there's going to be some tempers hot after tonight's race here, and we're only 2 laps in, so it's getting ready to get good here tonight. Kara Shangle with the lead now. So fun fact, Kara Shangle has won previously on Friday the 13th. That was prior to getting married, so at her maiden name she's been victorious, but since becoming Shangle, a Shangle member of the Shangle household, she has not been to victory lane. So wouldn't that be wild if she was able to win again on Friday the 13th nonetheless, and back it up with her previous win on Friday the 13th a couple years ago? It'd be wild and crazy. Still 195 laps to go. There's no way we can just crown a champ yet, but good start to the race for her for sure. Second place, you got Jordan Walker. Third, Kevin Xavier. Fourth, Finley Herwig. And fifth, Cooper Dwight. Already, I'm starting to like the storylines that could develop here tonight, as you've got the ARCA standout, Finlay Herwig, who went into auction season this off season to buy his charter. One of the charters went up for sale, and he pooled together all his money and outbid the likes of the Courting family to get this chartered seat. So Finlay wanted it worse, and here he is, guaranteed to start every race this year, having a good showing early in this one. He's going to be exciting to watch this season. A very exciting rookie to keep your eyes on. That number 68 Genesis. His own KGA Racing entry. His own driver. He's a owner driver here in the Cup Series for the first time ever. A pretty quick progression, as he just finished up ARCA last year for the most part. So 2 retirements in the race here tonight, finishing 45th and 46th. Unfortunately, Wyatt Wilkinson out for the count, and Lewis Trost, your pole setter, out for the count. Pretty wild when you've got your pole sitter out on lap 2. Right now, we are going to be keeping our eyes on the backfield here to make sure that they at least reach minimum race pace. It's not going to be very fun for these guys at the back, as they're going to be treading lightly on broken glass to try and stay in the field here today. Minimal speed will be, they have to stay within at least 4 seconds of the leader's best lap time. So right now, as it sits, a 48.3, fastest lap by Kara. If they are turning 52.4, they are unfortunately going to get sent home packing here tonight. So they're doubled up for the restart here on lap 7. Daytona's already claimed a good portion of drivers here tonight, and maybe a couple more to be DQ'd shortly. Pace car pulls off. Kara leads them to the restart. Green flag waving. Like seeing the Genesis representation this season. You got Cooper Dwight bringing the Genesis to the front. You've obviously got the 68 of Finlay, and even the Jacob Shangle Racing Camp with quite a few Genesis entries this season. A couple drivers made it through the sprint qualifiers, with Ryan White and Ryan Little both driving Genesis entries for Jacob Shangle Racing. And here comes Cooper Dwight now, right there, side by side. Coming to the front. Is he going to take the lead away from Kara? It looks like he will. Tom Courting wants to push it on. 4 wide again already. We are Friday the 13th racing here tonight, folks. They are getting out of control. Race stays green, even though we just had a car spin through the infield. Oh, holy cow. Well, Trevor Walker goes for a wild ride here. Keeps it off the wall. Collects it back up. Stays green. Everything drives away from him there. And, yeah, that's how that panned out. Unfortunately, Braden Varga is too slow, so number 9 for causing the big wreck to start the race here. Mostly, he is going to be credited with 44th place here tonight. Lucas Holmes also very slow. Sadly, he's going to have to go. Wow, this is some hardcore racing right now, folks. I don't want to skip away from the front of the field, because that's where all the action is right now. Holy crap. Jimmy Logano trying to take the top spot now. Jacob Shangle and the defending Bridge to Cup champion Alex Crowther moving through the field here. No caution from that nasty wreck for Trevor Walker. Spin around, collects it, the spin, and you're sent to the back. I've heard of spin and win, more like spin and you're out. Chaz Chadwick now with the fastest lap here. Ralph Oberstadt, that fast lap time is going to change hands pretty rapidly here tonight as the draft does not discriminate. Fast laps are going to be very, very fluid. Alex Crowther is going to deny Jacob Schenkel from leading the lap here as he gets there alongside the number 60 Greg Biffle tribute paint scheme. And here comes Monty up to the front as well. The 42, that is Brandon Butler the second. Wow, we are actually seeing a lot more movement in this field than we have seen all week at Daytona, with the trucks and Bridge to Cup having already raced here this week. This Cup Series is pretty wild so far. Looks like Tyler Schenkel might be the next one at risk of DQ. Disqualification. We will give Trevor Walker the benefit of the doubt since he got spun out. So that means we still have at least 40 cars out there that are competitively fast. Here comes Chad Hertenstein with the 88 of John Hagan moving up to the front. Welcome in, user. It is AI. Yes, it is. Thank you, Chad. It's simulated racing is the best way to put it. Forget about AI. Whoa, here comes Al Bunch out of nowhere. Look at that. Al Bunch, you and What Army hooked up and pushing to the front here. 3x3 all the way through the field. I'm amazed we haven't seen more wrecks here already in the first 15 laps around the track. Al Bunch from tail end of the field all the way to the front. He started 46th place here tonight. There is never in the history of Sigma Racing been someone that comes from 46th to win it. So if if he could get it done here tonight, that would be the biggest feat achievable in Sigma Cup racing. From dead into the field to front, he leads a lap there at least and gets to settle back into the conveyor belt of doom. Here comes Chaz Chadwick as well. Whoa, 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 the 55, that's James Fireball. Or no, Luis Rodriguez, my bad. The two teammates got a little bit out of sorts there. He saved it, though. We are seeing some very intriguing racing around here. It's they are driving like this is the real-life Daytona 500 already. A lot of adrenaline, a lot of... basically, oh, and wow, that is a nasty wreck there in the back of the field. Like I said, there's a lot of energy on the racetrack here tonight, and we're not done with the wrecking. Caution number 2 of the night, Friday the 13th. Man, I'm going to keep bringing that up because, man, we have had a very, very slow start to the season when it comes to wrecks and carnage and chaos. But tonight, that all changes. Something in the air. You can feel it. The electricity. It's just insane, man. So, let's go back and check how this wreck came. Oh, wow. Monty Schenkel gets harpooned into the catch fence there. 4 wide. You've got Bradley Ream in the middle there. That's the 42 of Brandon Butler the second. Pretty much all of them involved in that wreck. And then Monty's car just goes through the fence. It's a terrible wreck for the number 16 there. Monty gets a very tough break in this one. Ooh, Jimmy Logano involved in the mix. Jimmy Logano, wrong place, wrong time. Well, we did have 40 cars in the race here. Now we're probably cutting the field down a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know if Jimmy Logano got all that much damage there. Oh, Tyler Shangle rams into the back of Jacob there. Here's one at full speed. You'll get to see it all. Man, it's been a tough start to the season for Monty. Had a terrible start last week. Gets involved in another wreck this week. The Greg Biffle number 16 has not had a good start yet this season. So hoping things may clear up going forward here, but it looks like another sub 40 finish for Monty Shangle. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take a brief intermission here from the call. Just stay tuned and I'll get back in just a moment. Alrighty. So resetting the lineup here on the next restart, lap 20. Gonna have the 27 of Adam Starr leading the way with Chaz Chadwick in second. Tristan Reams, Taden Berggren, Trevor Vaden, James Fireball Robert, Ryan White. Followed by Chad Hertenstein, Sebastian Torres, Brian DeBlanc, Carson Bowers, Ewan Wood Army, Luis Rodriguez, Kellan Roellich, and John Hagan with Eli the Wolf next row back. Yet again, we're going to have to keep an eye on the slow traffic, disqualifying anyone not meeting minimum race pace. How's the racing been so far, folks? Those in the comments section, speak up and let us know how you're enjoying the race here so far tonight. Wow, Al Bunch is making a late pit stop here. What do we have going on? Didn't say anything about a mechanical failure, just unfortunately has to serve a pit stop here right at the start of the race. Tough break for Al Bunch as they're going to get rolling here and leave him in the dust. Very weird. Well, Adam Starr gets a good push there out of the 15 of Tristan Reams, the 17 of Trevor Vaden. That inside line is up and rolling. Chaz Chadwick in the Martini Honda Accord here for tonight's Daytona 500. It looks like the Sigma police are going to get rolling here and start disqualifying some more folks at the back of the field. But not before we keep the cameras rolling on the front of the field here. Here comes Trevor Vaden with a push from Ryan White in the 76. Sebastian Torres in the number 64. That inside line is hooked up and rolling. Long, long night ahead for many of these folks. And here we go, Ryan White about to lead his first career Sigma Cup race. First career lap in Sigma Cup that he will lead the way. The number 76 Genesis for Jacob Schengle Racing. Right behind him you have the 64 of Sebastian Torres, also for Jacob Schengle Racing. Teamwork at the front of the field helping them achieve the running order that they've got right now. Also have teammates up on the high side, the 17 of Trevor Vaden and the 18 of Chaz Chadwick way up on the outside. Three wide for the lead. Luis Rodriguez looking to take the spot away from Carson Bowers. Some folks just too rough for the wear at the back of the field. Four wide for second place, third place on back. Man, they are not wanting to get going here without wrecking tonight. It's going to be a hard race for anyone to survive here tonight. Those that can survive will have a good shot at winning it, but nonetheless, the electricity around this track. Al Bunch is not going to get the DQ. He's going to fall a lap down and probably rejoin the racing line there. Tyler Schengle gets disqualified here tonight, so finishing in 40th is the number 7 of Tyler Schengle. Sustained too much damage on that number 7 machine and is nowhere near minimal race pace. Ryan Little, he's close. Brandon Butler, the second also. Bradley Ream, we'll go ahead and let them roll for a while when they're wrecking up ahead. And it is a caution yet again. So we are going to have a wreck fest here tonight, folks. Ow, Liz gets in a gnarly wreck there too. Someone turn the dial up to 13 here tonight because we are in cautions breed cautions territory. Man, Liz just miscalculated that, got into the 77, and it hooked into the number 6 of Davian West. Tough break for all those involved there, getting knocked out early. Well, this is going to keep you on your toes here tonight, folks, because there's going to be so many resets and restarts. Al Bunch gets the lap back that he was about to lose here. He was circling the drain of going a lap down there pretty quickly, but gets saved by the caution. It'd be nice if the racing actually started breaking out so we don't have to keep going under caution so often here tonight. This does not really line up with the Daytona race that we had here last year by any means. When referencing last year's race here at Daytona, which ironically was also on February 13th, except that would have been a Thursday, I believe, last year. We only had 4 cautions. We're already at 3 here tonight, so we are on tap for a rough race, a long race, a night full of chaos, carnage, and Friday the 13th terror. And thanks to those of you that have tuned in here tonight so far. You're in for the long haul. So, unfortunately here, I think what we're seeing is Al Bunch stuck on the endless fuel window glitch that sometimes bogs down certain racetracks. Hopefully he can get the car fixed and continue rolling here tonight, but more than likely he's going to be coming from the back of the field every restart here tonight. So setting him up for the restart here, it's going to be the 23 of Tyler Landa and the number 10 of Jordan Walker. Behind that, you've got the number 1 of Ewan What Army, the 85 Brian DeBlank, and the 3 of Ralph Oberstadt. Cooper Dwight, Sebastian Torres, Tyler Aspinall, Eli the Wolf, and Chris Harvey, your top 10. Hopefully we can get some green flag racing in now. It's been a very wreck-filled start to tonight's race. We only had 4 cautions last year here at Daytona. We're at 3 right now. Hopefully we can get the green flag runs going. And Al Bunch still stuck on that rotating door of pit stops. That's a shame. So going forward, I think the goal would be to adjust the starting lineup so there's only 45 cars, because I've noticed it always seems to be that 46th stall has troubles in NR2003 for whatever reason. Next week at Phoenix, we will only run 45 cars, unlike we had here tonight with 46. 45 seems like a good number to kind of cap it off at, because 46 might just be a bit too much for this old game. Well, we just now matched our caution count from last year at 4 total cautions early in this one. We might have to force them to go single file to restart these races if we can't go green for long enough. So that looked like Trevor Vaden was to blame there, getting into the 21 of Chad Hertenstein, and a whole slew of cars pile in there, unfortunately, with nowhere to go. It's getting nasty here, folks. Retirements are going to start stacking up. It's going to be a game of survival by the end of tonight. Tasha, Finley, Jacob, Kara. It almost feels like there's a serial killer out on track that's reaching out, grabbing everyone tonight. Kara was all the way back in 26th, just with nowhere to go. The field kind of closed up quickly there. Finley, that might be a day ender for him. That hard of a hit. Some folks might be concerned with the distance of this race being 500 miles here tonight, because we can't even get rolling for more than 5 miles at a time. I know it's going to get late for some folks. The race is going to keep going, and obviously, worst case scenario, some folks might just have to catch the aftermath tomorrow once the results are posted. But holy cow, what a wild start to today's race. More retirements added in. You had the 68, Finley Herwig knocked out. Jacob Schengle in the number 60 out. Taden Bergeron in the 43 out. And for Al Bunch, he's going to continue getting more and more spots with all of these cars retiring here tonight. I wish I could change his pit stall for him so he didn't have to get stuck on the revolving door of repetitive pit stops here tonight. The NR2003 glitch. Yeah, it's kind of a shame. All the Biffle cars are getting very much involved with all the crazy chaos here tonight. Well, what in the world? Eli the Wolf leads the race. We already had a back-to-back Bridge to Cup winner this season. And this would be another, just another dimension of the storylines. I mean, for example, Campbell Marsh did a great job winning at Armory. Just as Eli the Wolf did. They had a clean race. There was no wrecks really that was going to get in their way. So the first race was the calm and you know, easy race. This week, Daytona has been nothing but easy. The Bridge to Cup race, when they got there, it turned into a fuel mileage race within the last 10 laps. And it turned out that Campbell Marsh had enough fuel and still ran out of fuel on the last lap, coasting across the start-finish line to take the victory. So, yeah, Campbell Marsh had to earn it the other night for the Bridge to Cup race. Eli the Wolf, he's going to have to survive here tonight like no other. Stay out of trouble, keep the car clean, and he's doing that. He's doing just that right now, keeping it clean. Up front now, leading some laps. That would be the most unprecedented start to a Sigma racing season if we have back-to-back winners in both Bridge to Cup and Cup. It's not lock and seal yet because we still have 168 laps left. But Eli the Wolf, he's outlasting at least 15 cars that are already knocked out of the race here tonight. That was close, 14. Another retirement joins the fold, the 77 of Preston Kundo out of the race now. That leaves us with 32 cars left running, all of which are on the lead lap currently. What I'm fearing the most right now for Al Bunch is that he will get the out of fuel mechanical failure here today if he is not getting fuel on those pit stops. As you can see, he keeps making that pit stop. Usually it's a problem with the pit road glitch where they aren't able to fuel the car up. But it's weird because he keeps doing this. He is not retired yet. He gets to stay out of the wrecks, stay out of the trouble. This might be a sound strategy to get the best finish here tonight. But it is definitely a pain in the butt for him, having to reset every time at the back of the field. So, getting ready for the next restart here on lap 34. Eli the Wolf is going to lead them to the restart. The 19 of Chris Harvey next in line. 14 of Kevin Xavier. The 45 of Tyler Aspinall. And you have the Red Bull entry of Jordan Walker, Ralph Oberstadt, Adam Starr, Ryan White, Alex Crowther, and Ewan What your top 10. Followed by Cooper Dwight, Tyler Landa, Kellan Roellich, Trevor Walker, Sebastian Torres, Trevor Vaden, Brian DeBlank, Bradley Ream, Chaz Chadwick, and Carson Bowers, your top 20. Everyone else still running in the back here, even though they've been through hell and back at the back. Cars looking a little bit rougher for the wear. So 32 cars left. And only 34 laps into the race. Fastest lap time set by Ralph Oberstadt here tonight. For Al Bunch, it's weird because whenever there's caution laps, he makes repetitive pit stops. But once there's a green flag run, it seems like he stays out there. So the tough break is going to be having to come all the way through the field every time you drop to the back, though. Especially if you lose the draft like you do right now, making that initial pit stop. The likelihood of us getting another new winner is very high here tonight. Kevin Xavier, Alex Crowther, Adam Starr, Jordan Walker, Cooper Dwight, Ralph Oberstadt, those are all drivers without a win here in the Cup Series, and they're all right there in the top 10, looking to try and snag glory here tonight. On that inside line, Cooper Dwight 3 wide for the lead. LFG Motorsports is representing here tonight. Pretty much all of them up here in the top 15. Ewan Wood Army, Trevor Vaden, Chaz Chadwick, and Kevin Xavier all having a good run here tonight. Daytona could shine its glory on them once the checkered flag waves. Still a lot of racing. Here comes Kara Shangle, the number 51 Ford for Monty Shangle Motorsports. One of the lone troopers left in MSM. The other remaining Shangle candidates all pretty much knocked out by now. So Kara, the lone soldier, marching on with the 51 car back in the top group, lead group here. Kellan Roellich leads the way. Kellan Roellich's kind of started to establish himself as that Denny Hamlin type of our series. He's a team owner, he's a driver. He's won some races, he's won some big races, he's won a lot of races. But the one thing that still eludes him is that championship. He's been in it for 15 plus years. You would think after 15 years of trying that you would have at least had a shot at taking the title, but it just seems like he's never there when it matters the most. So Kellan Roellich seeking a more than extravagant season here in 2026 to maybe try and stump the odds a little bit that have worked against him all these years. There you got Ralph Oberstadt and Tyler Aspinall moving to the front now. Our field has shrunk significantly. We're down to about a 20 car pack here at the front for fighting for the lead. And we're going to have to disqualify John Hagan. The 30 of Tom Cording. Al Bunch 2 laps down now. And Jimmy Logano, his pace is very dismal as well. Little. This group here will let them race for it, though. They seem to be at least holding their own for now. But kind of your cast and characters for the fight here tonight, about 20 strong. And a lot of potential for a new time winner. Couple other storylines such as back-to-back wins if Eli the Wolf can get it done here. You know, retribution for someone like Chaz Chadwick that went winless all year last year, but still had a solid season. Trevor Vaden, your truck champion who's trying to get his feet wet, would be a rookie that took the field by storm here tonight if he could win it. And then you got, you know, obviously the veterans. You got Kellan Roellich. You've got the rookies, such as Sebastian Torres. And you've got some sophomore drivers out there, such as Chris Harvey, Trevor Walker, and the unknown of some drivers like Adam Starr, who's one of the lone Subaru entries out there here tonight. manufacturers haven't really been talked a whole lot about here, but definitely some variety when it comes to the different badges on these cars, different engines and power plants. Obviously, the departure of Jaguar kind of changed the entire trajectory of this field. We had seen the dominance out of Jaguar the last couple years, and it was Jaguar's playground. But when Jaguar made the announcement that they were switching to all electric-powered vehicles going forward with their production and manufacture, that's when Sigma had to step up and pretty much, you know, it's like, hey, if you can't produce a gas-powered engine, you're not going to be able to play in our sandbox anymore. And that shook this whole field up because we knew Jaguar would be out there fighting for wins. It was the Jaguar dominance party every week, it seemed like. Most of your Jaguar drivers switched over to Dodge this year. A very valid, a very kind of smart move to make. And I feel like it's actually improved Dodge's R&D for this season. As you can already see, Dodge looking just like the Jaguars did, but maybe just a notch lower on that totem pole. So, goes to show you that they took the research and development from Jaguar with them over to Dodge, but it kind of evened the playing field back out like it should be. No longer should we see the dominance of one manufacturer. I think it should spread itself pretty well across everyone. Of course, one of the first drivers to win this season was a ex-Jaguar driver in Eli the Wolf. He, however, had never managed to win in the Jaguar, even though they were overpowered. And so making that switch to Dodge, it really kind of opens your eyes to the potential of some drivers that may or may not have had, you know, opportunities outside of the Jaguar dominance. Ryan Little, I had sent a DQ flag and he is not honoring. Oh shoot, that's why I didn't press the enter button. I was gonna say maybe he forgot to honor the disqualification, but I didn't press enter in time. 4 wide for the lead. That's gonna put Chaz Chadwick in a very vicarious position here. They're gonna settle back into 4 wide. Oh, and there goes Brian DeBlanc spinning out. Oh, Tyler Landa and Kara Shangle get into it there. Brother and sister. Kara's day might have just come to a close as well. So, caution count number 5. The racing was getting a little too rowdy up front yet again here. And we're not even a quarter of the way through the race here tonight, folks. She crumpled up the front nose that 51, so yeah, Tyler Landa, his car is done for. Man, just nowhere to go. She had her foot in the throttle and could not let up in time. Oh, the 55, Luis Rodriguez. That car is totaled. Smoke, and he can't see where he's going from here. It's too late as the car goes right down in front of him. Yeah, I get a feeling there's going to be a lot of people happy once the super speedway races are behind us here. It's crazy the disparity between the two races. We had a very clean, a very great race at Armory just last week. But tonight, it's a totally different ballpark. And the racing has been greatly hampered by the destruction on track. It's turned into a demo derby here tonight. The high potential for a driver to actually win a race with a greatly damaged car it's looking a little bit more likely that could be a factor here tonight. Wow, I'm impressed. Looks like they might actually keep Kara's car out there. Probably going to rip the hood off and let it roll. A very long time on the pit stop here for the 51. Kellan's car up on the jacks as well. What happened? How did he get involved? He was on the outside with nowhere to go. So that's why he got slammed into the wall. Might have got some similar damage there to Kara's wreck. He's gonna get back on track. So does Kara. Oh wait, retirement. The 51 of Kara has retired. So no Shangles left running here tonight. All of them knocked out so far, and we're only about a quarter of the way through tonight's race. Tough breaks all across the board for these drivers. Well, partly I almost feel like that caution could have been avoided had I hit the enter button on disqualifying the one car. As that one car was holding up the pack and they just got bunched up 4 wide, and that was it. But sometimes that's racing. It could have very well been the 52 just not honoring the black flag call. And here we go. Back and rolling here on lap 49. 5 cautions so far here tonight. So far it is impressive for LFG Motorsports. All 5 of their cars still out there running. You have the 1 of UN One Army, the 14 of Kevin Xavier, the 18 of Chaz Chadwick, as well as the 17 of Trevor Vaden and the 19 of Chris Harvey. The fact that they've survived the carnage goes to show you that they could still very well find a way up to the front and win this one here tonight. The groupings are going to be a little bit more spread out through the field here, as I feel like the damage is going to greatly kind of determine who's got the faster cars here tonight. That secondary group is slightly dropping there. Chaz Chadwick gets a bump there from Trevor Walker. And we've got some Hondas up front representing Chadwick and What Army, as well as Tyler Aspinall Racing's Honda of the 67 of Alex Crowther, the 45 of Tyler Aspinall, the 14 of Kevin Xavier for LFG Motorsports. Honda is really putting on a show right here. Look at that, the Subaru Legacy moving through the field as well. And fortunately for Bradley Reed, his pace is not looking good. 78 of Bradley Ream's going to get sent home here tonight. This group is very much still in the mix, and they could survive it here tonight if everyone else wrecks out. So well, the one thing is for certain, there's going to be some drivers that have dug themselves a deep hole to start 2026. That's really the only thing that's going to come out of these opening races, is how deep of a hole you dig yourself to begin the points catalog for 2026. Tyler Aspinall at the top, leading the way. Eli the Wolf right there now into second. Man, what a storybook season start that we're having so far, folks. It's got some potential. This could be a good one. Obviously, Sigma would love to acknowledge the fact that we're racing in memory of the Biff. It was a hard off season this past December. It's like every day was Friday the 13th there for a while. And losing Biffle, and then the next day, Denny Hamlin lost his dad, and it's wild how some things just tend to do stuff like that. It's uncontrollable and hard to wrap your head around sometimes. There we go. We got Al Bunch back on the lead lap. I figured we would try to adjust for the technicality, the glitch here at Daytona. Get him back on the lead lap as he goes a lap down there. Only one lap down, as it should be. He shouldn't have lost 5 laps here today. That was just not realistic by any means. So hopefully the revolving door pit stops is kind of over and he can race here tonight, as he still has a car clean and capable of fighting for the win here tonight. He's going to need a caution and the wave around to get back on the lead lap now, but has a chance. Adam Starr leads the way here on that lap, lap 55. Chad Hertenstein is 24th. His lap time's looking bleak. Currently, he is 11 seconds off, so we'll keep an eye on that. Here goes Kevin Xavier with a good push from Trevor Vaden. And now, finally, we might start seeing some green flag racing, as it's been a slow start here tonight. LFG Motorsports, 4 of the top 6. 4 of the top 5 now almost, as Chadwick's right there. 3 wide with the team. Kevin Xavier's going to drop back here and have to find an opening, get to the low side. But tonight it seems like total team control. We're dialing it back to 2006 EA Sports NASCAR Racing total team control, as you've got the likes of LFG Motorsports all represented here, Tyler Aspinall Racing all represented, and a couple other cars scattered throughout. Obviously, Al Bunch a lap down, but he's up there working with his teammate. Whoa, the 67 and the 45 got a little too close for comfort there. The teammates get out of sorts and they gather it back up, rejoin the race line. No wreck, no caution. We keep rolling. You gotta look at some of the privateers up front here too, like the number 10 of Jordan Walker. He doesn't have any teammates or drafting partners per se. Trevor Walker has teammates, but nowhere in the top 10. And same with Cooper Dwight. His teammate Carson Bowers nowhere near him here at the moment. So they're going to be working their butt off here tonight with the people that are not aligned with them necessarily. 3 of Ralph Oberstadt as well has very few helping hands to get him through the race here tonight. But he's still up front fighting for the win. Well, it seems like Al Bunch must have got the car fixed, as he's been able to stay out multiple laps here without having to go down pit road. Adam Starr doing a good job leading the way here. The privateer in the number 27 Subaru Legacy entry there for SSRI. Trevor Vaden out of the top spot. Well, although it was a disastrous start to tonight's race, it looks like we get settled in here for some good green flag racing finally. And at the end of the night, it'll mean all that much more to come out victorious here at Daytona, the world center of racing. Not only just like real life that they cherish and hold this race in high regard, so do these Sigma Cup drivers. They will cherish this Daytona 500 victory more than most of the races that they host. You got to think about that too, the trend that we highlighted to start the night, how Friday the 13th has seemed to have been won by past champions on many occasions. So could this tonight potentially transition to a championship run for someone? It's only race 2 of the season, but sometimes those omens are very ominous. And that could be a good omen for someone to win tonight at Daytona for the potential of being a champion at the end of the year. I'm still simply amazed that Eli the Wolf is in the mix here, that he could go 2 for 2 to start the season, just like Campbell Marsh did in Bridge to Cup. Me, 21, Chad Hertenstein does not seem too damaged. So I feel like we'll let him try to blend in with the race line here and see how that goes. Famous last words, though. I'm sure as an officiator here that I will regret this moment, and that this would not, would not have happened if I actually decided to pull the trigger here. But here goes. We'll see if he gets in a wreck or if everyone gets around him here pretty quickly. Big indicators if he gets caught up in the draft here and actually works alongside of him. Doesn't look like he's gonna. It looks like his car is a rolling roadblock, actually. What this does, though, is kind of separates the front field, and they're gonna get a kind of spread out here. 21 minimum race pace, even with the draft, if it's still 4 seconds below. If he had at least a little bit faster lap there, we'll give him, yeah, we'll give it to him. He'll stay out there. He's actually as fast as the slowest guy in that line there, so. Al Bunch in second place. So he got his lap back, actually, and is fighting for the win right now. I don't know how I did that, but there you go. Al Bunch on the lead lap, fighting for the win right now. What weird topsy-turvy rules that were working in that place there, but it works. Led a lap, 81 of Al Bunch. Brief pause here for station identification as we hit the record button after the 1 hour mark here tonight. Sigma Cup Race 2 of 42, Part 1 is recorded. Maybe now we can get some good green flag laps going. It seems like we're already off and rolling here for a long green flag run. Yeah, no, Sigma officiating can kind of, fans can scratch their heads about that too. I don't know where Al Bunch gets back on the lead lap. I thought that I put him right on the tail end of the lead lap and it made him basically go a lap down there, but instead he's on the lead lap fighting for a win. Let's just hope that the fuel bug has left and won't actively affect him any further here tonight. Well, Eli the Wolf to the top spot, leading some more laps here tonight. Fastest lap in the race now switches over to the 22 of Trevor Walker. It's actually impressive. The brothers Walker still alive for the drive here tonight. Trevor and Jordan both in the top 5 right now as they're side by side in the third, fourth row there, or second row for third and fourth place. 130 laps to go, 70 laps into this one, and your top 15 all within the lead draft here. Top 13, I guess. Huh. How fitting. On Friday the 13th, you've got a 13-car field here at Daytona fight for the win. We have not had to exercise our Sigma competition cautions here tonight because we've had so many wrecks to slow the pace of this race down. But more than likely, green flag pit stops should be on the horizon here if we don't get another caution soon. And that could help stack the field back up for another mid-race restart here. But what's wild here is the Honda brigade at the front of the field. You do have a couple Dodges, a couple Cadillacs, but it's Honda. Almost 80% of the top 13 is all Honda here. One lone Subaru, one lone Ford, and a couple Toyotas, it looks like. Or perhaps one lone Toyota as well. Yeah, just a singular Toyota and a singular Genesis race car as well. LFG Motorsports, nose to tail, 1, 2, 3 on that inside line, working together here to take the lead for Chaz Chadwick. If you folks are just now tuning in for the first time here tonight, you've missed a lot. 5 cautions within the first 50 laps of this race. Really slowed our pace down tremendously. It feels like we've never actually had a chance to get racing until now, finally. And even now, it looks like we're going to probably be heading towards green flag pit stops momentarily, so things will get kind of slowed down once again. But it's been a long green flag run here since the 5th caution fell nearly 30 laps ago, it feels like. Trevor Vaden leading the way. Let's take a look and see who the top lap leaders are here tonight. Currently leading the way in laps led, you got Cooper Dwight with a lap, 11 laps led. Holy cow. Look at the pit stops. It shows 20 pit stops for Al Bunch. That in its own is an anomaly that'll never be achieved again. But hopefully they got the pit road situation figured out on the 81 as he's up here fighting for the win with the leaders. Perhaps still alive for that long haul award of starting 46th here tonight. Potentially fight for a win as well. That would be against all odds if Al Bunch could get the win here tonight. Some lap traffic getting into the mix here. At least they are a drafting group, so this should merge fairly well once they close in on them. Fastest lap in the race, Trevor Walker, that number 22 Ford Pepsi entry there on the inside. And he's going to get pushed 3 wide in the middle there with Eli the Wolf on the outside. Ralph Oberstadt on the low side trying to take the lead away. This might get a little bit crazy here, folks. As it's doubled up, slow traffic here. They're going to have to screech to a halt, merging with this traffic. Ooh, they're gonna wreck here. There's no way they're not gonna wreck. It looks nasty with the lap traffic here. I was willing to give Chad Hertenstein benefit of the doubt, but it looks like if he doesn't hold up the entire field here, we might have to send him home for tonight. Tried to give him a shot. Car seemed to be all right once it got back into the draft, but this time not so much. Everyone's dealing with the lap traffic. Very dense right here. Looks like the DQ will put Chad Hertenstein at 23rd here today. One retirement, the number 12 of Carson Bowers, a gearbox failure. Leaves us with 22 cars left on track here. Well, caution number 6, folks. Friday the 13th is not working well with others here tonight. Holy cow. Tough break. This was a late race run caution here. It looks like the 45 of Tyler Aspinall just miscalculates it there. A lot of damage. LFG Motorsports primarily involved in this wreck. Ewan Wood Army gets a hard hit there. Al Bunch cruises through, ekes through without too much damage. Kellan Roellich also lapped down, but makes through the wreck pretty cleanly there. Tyler Aspinall ends up flipped over on his roof there. Eli the Wolf gets spun, but honestly, Eli the Wolf did not get much damage at all there. Oh, the 69 of Lynn Farrell is the one that hits the 45 really hard there. Everyone just kind of turns into ping pong balls out here tonight. second place. You're right. This definitely feels like an ARCA Breaks moment in our Cup Series, nonetheless. The carnage is out of this world right now, honestly. Holy cow. Honestly, no one is going to leave feeling very great about themselves here tonight at Daytona. I think we might be down to about 8 cars left running now after all that. There's no way these cars are going to get back on track, especially at the 45 flipped over upside down on the racetrack. So the field continues to shrink here tonight. We might be down to about 15 cars total, where we had about a 13 car field for the win. Most of them were involved in that wreck, so yeah, so knocked out now includes the 69 of Lynn Farrell, the 42 of Brandon Butler the second, the 14 of Kevin Xavier, the 45 of Tyler Aspinall, number 10 of Jordan Walker, that 22 car might be out of the mix as well. So Kellan Roellich Racing all still alive for the win here tonight. Al Bunch, Eli the Wolf. Then you have some unknowns in the mix there as well, such as Sebastian Torres, Ryan White, man, Chris Harvey hanging on for dear life. But the active leader right now is Ralph Oberstadt. Cautions are almost perfectly timed out here tonight to keep the race pace kind of at a steady flow here tonight. So Al Bunch is staying out with them. It looks like no more pit stops, hopefully, for the 81. That revolving door of ugly pit stop fee, glitches and. Yeah, so 16 cars left running. That's it. 16 cars total. All of which are now back on the lead lap. Jordan Walker out, Tyler Aspinall, Trevor Walker, who has the fastest lap in the race, Kevin Xavier, Lynn Farrell, and Brandon Butler the second. Man, it's a shame that Chad Hertenstein had to get disqualified for being so slow on the pace there. Still not likely to be a race-winning venture here tonight, but he could have gained about 6-7 more spots there had he met a more consistent race pace, that is. They'll get doubled up for the restart here. Ralph Oberstadt leads them to the restart. Cooper Dwight, Alex Crowther, and a guy that won the 2024 Sigma Cup Championship, Al Bunch, in the mix there. Chaz Chadwick, one of your truck champions. Eli the Wolf, a one-time race winner in all of Sigma competition. That just so happened to have come last week at Armory here in the Cup Series. Kellan Roellich Racing, all three of their drivers still alive here tonight. Almost a guaranteed top 15 for the three cars. 16th place exists only due to the fact that they have not retired yet. So speed is going to be greatly different here, as so many of the cars have sustained damage here tonight. I don't think there's a car out there that has not sustained some form of damage at some point here. So speed is going to be key to winning this race now. If you've got a car that's got a bit more speed than the other, that's all it's going to take. It looks like you and What Army way off the pace. Must have got a bit of damage on that number one machine in this last wreck. Whoa, the three. Ralph Oberstadt pitting out of the lead. That's wild. That relinquishes the lead over to Chaz Chadwick here on lap 86. Everyone in the shot here on the lead lap fighting for the lead position. So as it sits right now, the potential for new winners. You've got the 41 there, the 64, the 71, the 67, the 76, the 19. And they come around, I'm gonna see 27, the 17. They're sitting about 9 cars that could potentially get their first career win here tonight. It looks like we're still going to have about a 13-car lead draft here. At least 11. And you can see the damage on some of these cars. Chris Harvey back in the mix now after surviving the damage early on. Oh, and they're trying to wreck again. 4 wide for 4th place. That's definitely not going to work. They best just settle in here. Ralph Oberstadt rejoins the racetrack in front of your leaders, but then has to make another. No, he didn't. He didn't pull back down pit road, so he's going to stay out there in front of your leaders. Please, no more wrecks here tonight, folks. We just need to make this race go green to the finish, hopefully. Some of the stats, that was one of the few things that kind of started popping up. There's drivers in the field such as Brian DeBlanc that may not be flashy, that may not be the most dominant, but has a knack for surviving attrition such as tonight has provided us. And as you can see right there, the 85 Brian DeBlanc has managed to outlast the entire field. Doesn't have to be the fastest, doesn't have to, have to be the most flashy, but just being able to stay out of trouble, steer clear of all the wrecks, and staying alive at the end of a race. That's what Brian DeBlanc is really good at. There's definitely a couple other drivers in the field along the same lines of that, but the one that truly encompasses the entire feel of that whole persona is definitely the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. And just like that, Al Bunch fighting for a win here tonight in the Daytona 500. Last time we raced on Friday the 13th, Al Bunch also came home victorious that day. Last race that fell on Friday the 13th was June 2025, Michigan International Speedway, and that was Al Bunch's victory all to himself. There's been a lot of homegrown race winners within the Sigma community all these years. A few standouts such as Casey Kane, Scott Dixon, Jimmy Johnson, but majority of it comes within the evergreen Sigma racers that have been at it since day one, or the newcomers, the new generation of Sigma racers such as Al Bunch. By the end of the night here, the only driver that is a past champion left running is Al Bunch. All of our previous past champions have wrecked out here tonight. It has been a tumultuous race for sure. There's a lot of potential here in the field for drivers that could be a champion someday here in the Sigma Cup Series. Oh no, 4 wide. Eli the Wolf on the inside of that 4 wide. He's going to clip the 76 of Ryan White and gets off, gets on the apron there, but collects it. That could have been bad. One thing you can think about for the start of the season like this, the drivers that have had a bad start, definitely hardens them for a season that may or may not be a successful one. Kind of gets them started off on the wrong foot, and that could fire someone's motivation to fight harder here this season for wins, for a championship. So even though there's a couple drivers that have really had a rough first 2 races of the season, do not count any of them out, because this may very well be the motivation they needed to continue fighting for wins this year. Sorry for you and What Army, but your race pace is definitely way off. And even with the draft there, you weren't able to get back rolling. So spreads out the field. Chaz Chadwick, the benefit of that, takes the lead. A discernible lead with the rest of the field de-established there from the draft. Well, we're getting towards the 250-mile mark here tonight, and that's just at about halfway. The way that this race has stacked up the cautions, we're almost en route for about a 4-hour race here tonight. So 4 hours of Daytona. Sorry, folks, that it's going to turn into something like that, but it's kind of out of our control. Because the race has been so out of control, that is. Fact of the matter is we only have 15 cars left running here by the end of the first half right now. They're getting spread out, but I think they're going to get bunched back up here. LFG Motorsports still has a few bullets in the chamber here. Chris Harvey, Chaz Chadwick, even Trevor Vaden not too far out of the mix here. Well, folks, holy cow. We're finally at halfway here tonight. Okay, everyone running right now actually guaranteed a top 15, amazingly enough, as the number 1 of What Army unfortunately had to get the DQ flag there. Number 3 of Ralph Overstap, 1 lap down at the moment. And honestly, for the sake of my sanity, I am not going to disqualify any more cars, I hope. 87 may not be fast enough, but they got, you know, bunched up and then got gathered back up together. So even with lap traffic, I don't think it's going to destroy anyone's race here tonight. They'll be able to work their way around. Man, the Shangle household sub 40 finishes here tonight. Tyler Shangle in 41st, Monty Shangle in 42nd. And the 50 of Liz Shangle, just 1 spot above that in 39th. So tough start to the season for the Biffle tribute cars. Jacob Shangle knocked out in 35th. Kara Shangle, the highest finishing of the Biffle tribute cars, in 26th. Yep, sadly, all the Biff cars out before halfway. But LFG cars still running strong. Kellan Roellich Racing cars still running strong. Eli the Wolf's out there in 10th. He lost the lead draft there, but working alongside the 64 of Sebastian Torres. Brian DeBlanc way off the pace. Tremendously lucky break for Al Bunch, having to serve 20 pit stops at one point here tonight to try and get the car right. Must have been some mechanical gremlins that struck the 81 that they had to make that many pit stops after the first caution of the race, and it seems like they got the car right finally. So took a lot of time on pit road, fell multiple laps down, but back on the lead lap, in the mix for the win here tonight. I don't know how else he could have done it. Kellan Roellich, slow traffic here, holding up the leaders a little bit. Al Bunch dips low. Kellan Roellich dips low right in front of his teammate there. At the end of tonight, someone's going to be doing burnouts for Biff. The Daytona 500 burnouts for Biff, that is. 500 miles of survival has been the name of the game here tonight. You might as well forget about past history when it comes to Daytona, because you're going to be out there racing amongst the rest of them, and sometimes survival is the name of the game. And the drivers you're looking at right now have done the best at surviving the carnage, the chaos, the craziness. New fast lap now belongs to Cooper Dwight here tonight. He takes over that top honor. He's up here in the mix with the leaders. That's the number 41 Genesis there of Cooper Dwight. Crazy that we're getting later into the race and lap times, fastest laps are still dropping. Tristan Reams, man, must be a super speedway maestro. as last week at Armory Digital Superspeedway. Let's pull up the stats from that race. He also had a good start to the season. He sits second in the points to Eli the Wolf by 5 points, and that's all because he ended up runner-up at Armory. So your top 2 cars from last week still alive tonight. Lewis Trost unfortunately takes the biggest fall from grace as he was up to 3rd in the points. Came home 3rd at Armory Digital Superspeedway, and he's going to finish 46th here tonight. Alex Crowther, that 67 Honda, he's 4th in the points. So, yeah, we've got some pretty big names, key names, already early on in the season here, starting to establish themselves as contenders. Very, very tough start to the year for Al Bunch, as his first race of the season, he ended up finishing 43rd. Back-to-back races with a 46 car field. Unfortunately for Monty, taking home the honors of 46th place last week. He only does a couple better this week. Super Speedways have not been kind to the Shangle family, and we'll be looking forward to getting these races behind us. Moving on to Phoenix next week. A little bit more lap traffic holding up the leaders here as they have to navigate around them. 27 of Adam Starr. He has significant damage that's slowing up the field here. We have not seen green flag pit stops even once here tonight. Cautions keep falling in each of these runs, which actually is kind of neat that we've had the cautions that spread out. That'll keep the the field getting stacked up for restarts here. But eventually, you feel like there's going to be one of those green flag runs that go long enough that they need green flag pit stops here tonight. Now that the field has shrunk significantly, there's probably more chances here that this green flag run can run long enough into a green flag pit stop stretch here. We'll see. So, kind of a little side story here on Chris Harvey, that number 19. Some may remember a couple years back here in the Cup Series, a very familiar face that ran the number 19. They brought back the 19 to kind of pay homage to Atlee Weiss here in the Sigma Cup Series. Champion of the 2023 season, Atlee Weiss came in. He stormed in as quickly as he stormed out, winning 8 races in his Sigma career in the Cup Series, that is. He had some wins in trucks and Bridge to Cup as well. But ultimately, his 8 wins in Cup and Rookie of the Year and championship title back in 2023, paying homage to the kid who's going to go places, the original race car driver that joined the server, the OG and always, Atlee Weiss, who we've got our eyes on. We'll see his career, and it'll probably flourish into something big, and wouldn't that be the day, as we had him on our humble abode here in the Sigma Racing Series for even a minute. You know, he was there, he was with us for a couple of years there, and that, you know, felt like a lifetime to me, having someone that passionate about race cars also be a part of our series. It's a shame that he had to go, but we understand why he did. He had to focus and put all of his energy into pursuing his career as a race car driver. And so Chris Harvey paying tribute to that with the number 19 on his door this year and possibly going forward. Good luck charm, maybe, we'll see. Is already top 10 here tonight, guaranteed a 15th or better. Could he harness his inner Atlee in that number 19 and win it tonight here at Daytona? Let's look and see what the lap lead count looks like now. Currently, led most laps belongs to Cooper Dwight, 22 laps led. Chaz Chadwick at 13 laps led. Alex Crowther at 10. Al Bunch has led 6 laps here tonight. Chris Harvey has led 3. Eli the Wolf 5. 1 lap for Sebastian Torres. 10 laps for Ralph Oversat. 3 laps for Trevor Vaden. 2 laps for Adam Starr. And 2 laps for Kellan Roellich. The rest of the field retired from the event here tonight, but that goes to show you that it's pretty much anyone's game still. Well, green flag pit stops are happening now. We went the longest green flag run here with a set of green flag pit stops. Al Bunch serving his time. It doesn't look like he's getting tired, so hopefully that pit road glitch does not come back to haunt him here. Yeah, quick gas and go, I guess. It looks like the pit road glitch is striking again for Al Bunch as he's making another trip down pit road. We will have to throw our Sigma competition caution here too to get things stacked back up. And we'll get everything squared away. We'll let them do their revolving door pit stops here for a moment. Man, what a criminal way to go out. The AI glitch is not being generous here. And it had worked so well here tonight. It seems like the pit stop fix did not last for long as Al Bunch is now stuck on pit road again. And even the 41 on revolving door pit stops here, or maybe he stayed out as long as he could and run out of fuel. I do not know what's going on here, folks. I'm just trying to give you the best coverage I can of the chaos and craziness. So here's our comp caution to get everything stacked back up. And I think Al Bunch is good. Maybe now getting that car fixed and back and rolling here. Yep, we had to throw that Sigma comp caution, get everyone back on the lead lap here. Get everyone stacked back up. So, 74 laps left in this race. We've had 7 grand total cautions, 6 of which have been for wreck. This is our first competition caution here tonight for green flag pit stops. And, oh no, Kellan Roellich gets into it here. Why is the AI are on some kind of brain trip here tonight? 87 to Kellan Roellich flight. No, the 17 of Trevor Vaden stalls on track. Must have run out of fuel. And Kellan Roellich had no idea. Another ARCA brakes moment in the Sigma Cup race here tonight. Trevor Vaden should have gotten down to the apron, but he blocks the track from Kellan Roellich. Kellan Roellich's day comes to an end. One more retirement on the night. And Kellan Roellich was going to have a good run here tonight with a shot at winning it, but no longer will he have a shot to win that. Fuel leak for the 17, so he was low on on fuel pressure because he had a fuel leak. So retirement from the 17, more than likely a retirement from the 87. Seven total cautions. We're down to almost 70 laps left to go once the green flag drops again. Hopefully all we have left is about another hour of this this slog fest, I guess would be a better way of putting it. It's been a long, drawn out affair. I am trying to look through the Discord channel. I have missed a lot in general chat. Good Lord Almighty. I don't know if I'll get caught up on all the messages. I think everyone will forgive me if I don't look through all the messages, because I don't think I have the brain power. Here we go, back and rolling here tonight. So we are down to 13 cars left running now, and it is, it's been hard, folks. Keeping this race without retiring someone every caution break has been immensely difficult. If we get another green flag run, we will have to have the other mandatory green pit stop competition caution. That's what I was looking for. 13, yeah. No, I think we broke the record for Sigma Cup almost single-handedly. Here, let's see if ChatGPT can actually give me what I want it to. Part is all 13 of these cars still very much alive and possibly in the mix for a win. Even the 27 with significant damage, who's not even in the lead draft here. If we get any more wrecks and takes out another portion of the field, we'll be looking at the least amount of cars left finishing a race in Sigma racing history. And with 66 laps to go, there's still too many laps here tonight that could leave us with more retirements before the end of it. So I would love to say that this is a record, but I'm waiting for my assistant here to punctuate the stats, look at the data, and give us something, some cold, hard, concrete evidence as to the least amount of racers finishing a cup race, Sigma Cup race that is. We've never had, I don't think we've ever had single digit cars left running. There might have been a couple races actually that were close to that, but I mean, we're approaching that. We're almost down to single digits with 13 cars left on Friday the 13th. But in the meantime, we'll just call the shots while we can. LFG Motorsports, they've got 2 drivers in the mix here. Chaz Chadwick and Chris Harvey. Kellan Roellich Racing's got 2 drivers in the mix. Eli the Wolf and Al Bunch. And Jacob Schenkel Racing with 2 cars in the mix as well. Ryan White and Sebastian Torres. Apart from those 6 drivers that are paired up together with teammates, you have some single runs. You have the 41 of Cooper White all alone up front here. Does have some camaraderie with the Genesis camp of Jacob Schenkel Racing. The Cadillac, the lone Cadillac of Ralph Oberstadt. One of the lone Chevys of Rich Roy. And of course the Honda there in the background, that's the 15 of Tristan Reams for Reams Motorsports Honda Accord. Honda's really showing up and repping here tonight. 67 of Alex Crowther, that's a Honda entry for Tyler Aspinall Racing. Well, it seems like the assistant is definitely doing their crunching here. It's still taking them some time to look back through all the records of Sigma Racing to find the race with the least amount of finishers. I gave it some very, very direct guidelines to look specifically for anything, any races, any events that had the least amount of finishers. When looking, it had to find basically on the list if there were anything not as a deficit or a lap down, that they be treated as a DNF. So retired, accident, mechanical failure. So far, 12 cars in the lead pack here. Even though there's 13 cars left running, 1 has fallen off the lead pace. Last week's winner, Eli the Wolf, still in the mix to try and go 2 for 2. Chaz Chadwick's been holding on for dear life here tonight. That 18 has drove through smoke, debris, wreck fields and everything, but here he is still fighting for the win tonight. Al Bunch as well. With his pit road gremlins, he's had to work hard to get back into this one, and there he is fighting for the win. We'll have to see if the pit road gremlin strikes again with the last round of pit stops still along the horizon. 4 wide, ooh, not quite. Chris Harvey thought about it, but decided better. And good on him, too. You wouldn't want to go 4 wide here and risk going into another caution wreck here this late in the race. 140 laps in, 60 laps to go. We are hitting the 2 hour and 20 minute marker. Holy crap, 2012 Talladega, 14 finishers, 20 plus DNFs. I think that might have been the record. Let me go back and reference for myself in the history book here. 2012 schedule. So it had to have been the second Talladega race. Wow. Yep, there we go. Wait, no, that ain't right. It goofed up. So I'm still waiting the official record as that pulled up a false positive. It thought that that was the case, but that is not. Either way, if that were the record, if 14 was the record, we would be breaking that here today with only 13 left running. A new record, I'm sure, and still 56 laps to go. Honestly, I would love for it to stick around here at 13 with Friday the 13th. It would be a very fitting field size to finish here tonight. Everyone's rough for the wear though, folks. I mean, look at these cars, look beat up, banged up, roughed up, and they're just trying to make it to the finish now. Survive the attrition. Someone's gonna come out victorious tonight. There's the 13th car about to do a lap down here. We're not going to disqualify them. We'll let them handle the situation at hand here. Leading the way right now, that is the 41 of Cooper Dwight. Yeah, so 2025, there was 14 cars left running in 2025 Talladega. So we beat last year already this year with Daytona. Last year's Daytona, though, was not this wild. I mean, we still had, running at the end of last year's Daytona, 34 cars. So this year, just an anomaly. And I guess you can go ahead and chalk it up to racing on Friday the 13th. Just another crazy night of racing. The pressure was a little bit too thick for the drivers here tonight. They were not mentally prepared to take on Daytona. And this kind of race doesn't happen all the time. So that's where I'm getting to where I don't mind it all that much, because we've seen very few of these in the last couple of years. We've figured out how to fix this problem. It just reared its ugly head here again tonight on us, and we'll move on to the next race and not have this big of a dropout going forward. But yeah, it looks like 2025 Talladega at 14 left running stands out to me as the finishers left running. Oh wait, the record, and I stand by this, is 5. There's only been 5 cars finish a race once. This happened back in 2014 at Atlanta. So ChatGPT actually pulled this up for me. I told it to look at these perimeters, these guidelines, look specifically in the events of every race. 5 were the last remaining drivers running at the end of the 2014 February 19th, 2014 race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So it must be something to do with this week of February even. That race, the last 5 drivers left running were Dalton Scott, who won it, Monty Shangle, who finished 2nd, Kellan Roellich 3rd. So a deadly dynamic trio there. Kellan Roellich, 3rd place, was 2 laps down. Junsonu with a 4th and Jordan Roman with a 5th. That was all the drivers left running at the end of the Atlanta race. 8 Bowl Superspeedway also close 2nd, 2021. According to ChatGPT, let me confirm or deny this. 8 Bowl Superspeedway, 5 cars left running. Clyde Coker won that race with Justin Roman, Paul Wilkins, Bob Leader, and Hunter Shea rounding out your top 5. Oh, and we're 4 wide right there. So the record is 5. We are not there yet, and I hope we do not see that day. I hope we do not get any less than 5 cars finishing the race here tonight. Daytona does hold the honor in 2019 for having 9 drivers running. So it's happened here before where we've had single-digit race drivers left running. crazy thing is, those races were not on Friday the 13th. Honestly, Atlanta kind of surprises me, though. Out of all the tracks, I would not have forecasted Atlanta. Although it was a full 500-mile race at Atlanta, which goes to show you that, you know, the longer the race, the more likely you're going to see attrition rule supreme. We still got a lot of racing here, and our leaders swapping it out back and forth for the win here. And they're getting stacked back up here that things could get a little bit out of control in the closing laps here tonight. And you would think that they would chill out and kind of relax, wait till the laps clip down a little bit shorter here. But no, they're 3 by 3 by 3 stacked in there like sardines. Almost 4 wide, the 3. Man, this has been a wild night for racing, folks. We're getting down to the end of it, though. 44 laps to go. It's gonna clip by pretty quickly now, as long as they stay green. If we can stay green here, we might be able to get done before the 3-hour mark strikes. So that'll be good, hopefully. Knock on wood that I didn't just jinx anything. Good thing is we're still going to get this race in before the conclusion of Friday the 13th. Specifically here on the West Coast. Those of you on the East Coast, good morning. It's about 1 a.m. over there. Surprised if you're still turned in to the race here tonight on the East Coast. Kudos for those that are. Hopefully one of your drivers is still in the top 13 here, as you're one of the last 13 drivers left surviving here at Daytona. Alex Crowther, your Bridge to Cup champion, the defending Bridge to Cup champion. He's come out of the gate swinging here this year. That 67 Honda Accord for Tyler Aspinall Racing is looking to be a stout contender, potentially for race wins and even fighting for a title this year. Seems like whenever there's a new rookie on the field in Sigma Cup, they're always kind of knocking it down, coming out of the gate swinging like this. So, no exception to the rule with Alex Crowther, the 67, having a great showing here tonight. The real season starts next week at Phoenix. That's where the gamble, the random, roll of the dice no longer applies. These super speedway races are great for first-time winners and surprise winners. But Phoenix, you're going to have the fastest car. You're going to have the wheelman behind it. A lot, kind of all depends on the full season of racing, not just getting a win here and getting a win there. Got to put together a consistent year, continue to tally up great finishes, not just wins, top 5s, top 10s. Stay out of trouble. Avoid the DNFs like you're trying to tonight. Sebastian Torres in number 64 having a good run here. That rookie having a stout performance, showing his potential early on here in 2026. The Jacob Schengle Racing number 64 Genesis there, Mountain Dew Voltage paint scheme. And here starts the next round of green flag pit stops. It's going to be close. We'll keep our cameras rolling on the leaders here, and once everyone pits, that's when we'll throw out the competition caution to get them stacked back up. Okay. Alrighty, we'll let them get stacked back up for what could likely be the last restart of the race. They should be able to pit this time under the competition caution and get fueled up one final time, fresh tires if they need it. And then it'll be about a 30 lap push to the finish, which is really close on the fuel window, but it should be almost perfect, so we'll see. As long as we don't have to execute overtime here tonight. Just one final restart hopefully takes us to the checkered flag. 8 cautions, definitely not a record by any means. We've had far more cautions at some of the other races over the years. So, just kind of a bulletin board update for tomorrow, folks. The Sigma Elite Challenge gets to start off its whole career. It's the first of its kind race with the vintage trucks here in Daytona, but we're going to be running on the beach at Daytona. So on the sands of Daytona Beach, the vintage trucks take to the field, and Sigma Elite Challenge starts its first ever season of racing. 21 of the best from Sigma Racing universe get to accept that invitational into the Elite Challenge. So you're going to see some familiar names, folks that are kind of the all-stars, the IROC. It feels more like an IROC series almost. So the Race of Champions, race of the big names in Sigma Racing get to tackle this Elite Challenge for season number 1. What's going to stand out or separate it from most series is that it's broke up between 5 different models of race vehicles. So the vintage trucks we'll start out with, and then we will hop into an open wheel race car, so kind of an Indy car / Formula 1 car, and race at some vintage versions of racetracks that are popular with that series of race car. And then lastly, there is a late model stock car. And the late model stock car obviously will be racing at short tracks, some vintage ones to be specific. Like for example, later at the end of the year, the open wheelers are going to race at the Brickyard when it used to be configured completely of bricks. So keep your eyes peeled for that action, folks, because it's going to be something different, something flashy, and exciting to follow along with. So on Friday the 13th, with 13 cars left running, 30 laps to go, pace lights are off. We're going to get doubled up on the backstretch here, back and rolling here shortly. "32 laps under caution is just insane. Al Bunch late to rejoin the racetrack. He's coming. Hopefully that pit road bug is fixed again, because he has been the only guy to pit here tonight. 26 times he's had to pit. But he's survived and he's keeping it rolling here tonight. And it's an alternative strategy now, I think, just going down, getting that fuel. Hopefully he doesn't make that trip again. There he is. He's making the trip again. I don't know why. Yeah, NR2003 kind of sucks when it's got this pit road glitch. It's very annoying. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's aggravating for sure. Going for the lead, Ralph Oberstadt side by side with Cooper Dwight. Heading out of turn 4 now. Takes the lead away from Cooper Dwight, and the rest of the field behind still trying to get sorted out 3 by 3 by 3. Your 2-car breakaway at the front with your leaders there. Eli the Wolf in the mix for trying to win back-to-back races here. Cooper Dwight with the Genesis DXP competition, number 41 taking over the lead there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to get that thing fixed in time. Running out of laps here for Al Bunch to get back into the mix. Dude, what the hell? I keep giving the lap back just to be fair, because it's a freaking glitch in the game, man. It sucks. I don't know why. I don't know why it has to exist in the damn game. Four laps to go now, and it's about a 11-car fight for the win. You got Chris Harvey there on the inside, Eli the Wolf mid-pack, Rich Roy, Sebastian Torres, Ryan White, Chaz Chadwick, even Tristan Reams, and is that Brian DeBlanc? Yeah, it's Brian DeBlanc still in the mix for the win here tonight. the second part is that Al Bunch had gotten out of the pit road glitch once there and was actually fighting with the lead for the win. So he's got a car capable of winning, but NR2003 doing NR2003 things yet again. 3 wide for the lead. Eli the Wolf on the low side. Ralph Oberstadt holding the top position right now. Here comes Chaz Chadwick. 3 wide on the low side. I think what's crazy is the fact that one singular lap here at Daytona is almost the perfect window of a pit stop, because Al Bunch has constantly made the same trek down pit road right at about the same time the leaders are coming across the start-finish line. Are they gonna wreck 4 wide in the middle of the pack? Ooh. Well, Chaz Chadwick leading now with 19 laps to go. The JSR teammates right there next in line, second and third. Whoa, Al Bunch stayed out. So there we go. Back in it. And just so you know, I'm not trying to give Al Bunch a win here. I'm simply trying to keep 13 cars in the mix. Well, I guess 12 technically. So what's going to happen here is we'll give him his lap back if this lead pack catches him. That's the only way. And I'm going to wait till he falls back to the back end of the pack, or if we get a caution, you know, resets anyways and he's back on the lead lap with the leaders. So he's just now on the tail end of the lead lap as it sits right now. We do not want to give him the lap back as it sets, or else he'd be the leader for all these laps. So he's either fighting for a 12th place finish or back in the mix for the win, perhaps. $16 to go. They're gonna have to catch him though for him to even have a shot. I know that's kind of ticky-tacky, letting Al Bunch have a shot like that, but the problem is it was extracurricular glitches in the game that took the win away from him here. So trying to level out the playing field a little bit, because he's still got a car capable of running with the leaders. That's the thing. Because of a glitch, he has been knocked out of the race, and I do not really like the fact that that has happened here tonight. So figured the fair way to do that would be giving him a shot, even though it is kind of weird giving him bonus laps that he never truly ran on the racetrack. So he's still gonna have to earn it. Man, the problem though being this 27. He's going to have to serve a penalty. We're not going to disqualify him. Simply going to have to serve a black flag, pull off the racetrack, so we're not hampering the finish to tonight's race. Well, shoot, Al Bunch is running way too fast. He ain't going to let the other group catch him here. Leaders are running about 1 second faster laps than Al Bunch. And with 15 laps to go, that means Al Bunch would have to drop off significantly for them to catch up to him. Things got a little bit, there's a little bit of contact there at the 64 and the 67. Brian DeBlank tries to block the run from the 18. That actually forced Chaz Chadwick down below the yellow line, the double yellow line, which is kind of a gray area. If you go below, below the yellow line, you can't advance the position. But if you're forced below, it's definitely not as frowned upon. So gray area for sure. 85 blocked the run. The 18 had to defend the line and drop to the bottom of the double yellow. Back to the top, it's Cooper Dwight. 3 wide a piece behind him there. You've got the 94 of Eli the Wolf moving through. Chris Harvey and Chaz Chadwick on the high side. 3 by 3. 2 by 2. Settling back into a 3 by 3 in the back half as well. So Al Bunch has an 18-second advantage over this group with 11 laps, and he's losing about 1 second a lap. So now we're down to 10 to go. We can count how many laps are left on 2 hands here tonight. Should be able to make it without any more pit stops. I know that it could be touch and go for some if we had to go overtime here tonight. Well, Alex Crowther leading the way with 8 laps to go. Eli the Wolf, though, in a close second. Your defending race winner from Armory Digital Superspeedway. The 94, look at him. He's making a move on the 67. Is he going to have the momentum? He gets right up on the back bumper and actually goes up high. Thinking to make a move around the outside, which is not the best idea for the 94. He still has an opening on the inside. He's going to take it and cut back. Ooh, it's barely able to cut back in front of the 64 there. Al Bunch is down to 10 seconds now. The leaders are picking up the pace significantly, about 2 seconds quicker than Al Bunch at the moment. So if they pass Al Bunch, we'll give him the +1 lap and he'll be back in the mix here. It's going to be close. Cooper Dwight right there battling back, the fastest car in the race here today, duking it out amongst all the Hondas, the Dodge, Chevy, the Genesises, the Cadillac. But here comes Eli the Wolf, winless in his first 2 careers of Sigma Cup racing. Finally, breakthrough last race on the season at Armory to get that first career win. And so, could he really open the floodgates here and go back to back? That would be a tough feat. And we already saw it earlier this week with the Campbell Marsh back-to-back in Bridge to Cup. Very possible, very likely he can get the job done. We know what he's capable of. 6 laps remain now here at Daytona. 500 miles almost all down in the books. Cooper Dwight, though, holding the steady wheel at the front here. Brian DeBlanc in the mix as well. Chaz Chadwick, don't sleep on him. Ralph Oberstadt. He's a rookie fueled by adrenaline right now. He wants to have a good showing tonight and keep his momentum rolling in the right direction. Chaz Chadwick up to second. Chaz Chadwick going to the lead here with a handful of laps left. 4 to go. He gets there right alongside the 41. Here comes the 3 of Ralph Oberstadt. Eli the Wolf drops far back here with 4 laps to go. Is he going to try to mount one final comeback? What about Chris Harvey kind of showing up here at the end as well? The LFG cars moving to the front. proving that their finishing record is better than their running record tonight, at least. Mid-pack for Chris Harvey is kind of transitioned into a top 5 finish, guaranteed top 15. Oh, and here goes Ralph Oberstadt trying to shake it up here. After they take over the lead from Cooper Dwight, it's going to be a revolving door of leaders right to the finish. Oh, and by the way, they're closing in on lap traffic. That's Al Bunch ahead of them. About to go 1 lap down, as we'll give him the honorary extra lap. Only given out to him in this situation because of his pit road glitching and keeping him on pit road a lot longer than he needed to be. Yeah, he's going to get swallowed up here in the next lap. We'll do it right. We'll give him at least a fighting chance here tonight. He's going to have to get back in with the lead group here, and we'll give him his lap back. 2 laps remaining. Just for good measure, extra laps in case we need them for green-white checkered. Oh, goodness. They're closing in on both lap cars, the 27. This is a wreck waiting to happen, folks. Cooper Dwight's going to get right up there on the back bumper of Al Bunch. Well, I might have gave the lap back to Al Bunch way too soon there. This could be a redacted win if if it doesn't pan out the way it should here. But Ralph Oberstadt's gonna out freight train him here. Coming to the start-finish line, Oberstadt will lead the lap. White flag waving, 1 lap to go. Al Bunch has a shot though. Here comes Eli the Wolf. Cooper Dwight on the inside of the number 3. Dwight has taken the lead numerous times here tonight. Is he going to be able to take it the last time on track? 1 more lap halfway through. Halfway to go on the last lap of the race. Eli the Wolf's right there knocking on the door. Here comes Chris Harvey pushing it 3 wide on the backstretch. Cooper Dwight, all he's got to do is hold the lead right now. Defend, defend, defend. 94 is going to stay high. The 41 is going to drop low, block the run on the inside. Cooper Dwight. Ooh, and that's going to be all she wrote, folks. Cooper Dwight's going to hold off the charging crew behind him to take his first career Sigma Cup win in style. Eli the Wolf goes from first last week to second this week. So keeping the points conversation in his ball court. Coming home third is Chris Harvey with a 3rd place finish. 4th place was Alex Crowther. 5th place, Ralph Oberstadt. 6th place, Ryan White. 7th place, Chaz Chadwick. 8th place, Al Bunch. And that's all she wrote, folks. 500 miles in the books. Another new winner. Cooper Dwight taking home the hardware here tonight for the Sigma Daytona 500. Getting Genesis another win in the Sigma Cup Series. Starting off his career as a team owner in the Cup Series with style. DXP competition, 1 win to their name in the Cup Series. $13 cars left running here on Friday the 13th. And thank you folks for staying tuned in all night here. It was a knockout, drag out, kind of a snooze fest for part of it, but had some racing there at the end that kind of shook it up a little bit and got us a brand new winner. For once, the fastest car actually won the race. Cooper Dwight with the fastest lap converted that over to a race win here tonight at Daytona.
Greg, did you have any ignition problems?
Well, and that, folks, is a wrap here tonight. Another Daytona 500 in the books. Another new winner this season already. Back-to-back first-time winners in Sigma Cup competition. So we're on to Phoenix next week. Time for some more normalcy in the racing world, as Phoenix should not be as unpredictable as these first 2 weeks were. We'll have some more racing action tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon with the Sigma Elite Challenge. So tune in and find out what that's all about. But for me, it's been a long night. I am ready to tune out for now and get some rest. So everyone else, have a great night. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.